Learners, VOA Weather Hits.
Welcome to Learning English, a daily 30-minute program from the Voice of America. I'm Dan Friedel.
And I'm Katie Weaver. This program is aimed at English learners. So we speak slowly, and we use words and phrases especially written for people learning English.
Today on the podcast, the Higher Education Report takes us to the well-educated state of Minnesota. Then Andrew Smith joins us to discuss an English phrase about the slow process of learning something new. We close with our newest America's Presidents episode about Joe Biden. But first,
a Chinese car group says China likely overtook Japan as the world's biggest auto exporter in 2023. The Chinese Passenger Car Association, or CPCA, says automakers like BYD Auto, Chery, and others are seeing increased sales overseas. The CPCA announced that exports of Chinese cars jumped 62% to a record 3.83 million vehicles. Japanese customs data showed car exports at 3.5 million for the first 11 months of the year, not including used vehicles. China's total auto exports were estimated to hit 5.26 million units last year. Japan's full-year exports were predicted at 4.3 million units, the CPCA found. China's rise as a top auto exporter is due in part to the strength of its electric vehicle, or EV, automakers. BYD overtook Tesla as the world's top seller of EVs late last year. Most of the sales were within China, however. Some governments are concerned about Chinese auto exports affecting sales of their own automakers. In September, the European Commission started an investigation into Chinese-made electric vehicles over subsidies they may have received. And the administration of U.S. President Joe Biden is considering raising taxes on some Chinese goods, including EVs, the Wall Street Journal reported last month. China is the world's largest auto market. Vehicle sales there rose 5.3% last year. Sales of battery-powered vehicles in China last year increased 20.8%. And sales of hybrids grew 82.5% last year. Sales of Chinese-made cars are expected to make up 63% of total sales in China this year. Sales of Chinese cars jumped 15.7% last year. French auto brands suffered in China in 2023, with sales down 41%. Sales of Japanese cars dropped almost 11% last year, while U.S. brands saw sales drop 1.4%. I'm Gregory Stockel.
Minnesota has the second highest education level in the U.S., as measured by the scholarship research website Scholaroo.com. A representative from Scholaroo told VOA Learning English that the state has a high percentage of residents with advanced degrees. It is ranked above Connecticut and just behind Massachusetts overall. The state is number one in the percentage of residents with doctoral degrees, Scholaroo says. The top study programs there are in education, medicine, and law. VOA Learning English talked with students and college supporters to learn why they think Minnesota is a good place for higher education. Akil Kolengode is an undergraduate student at the University of Minnesota, Rochester. He is in a new program that offers an undergraduate degree in 2.5 years, compared to the traditional 4. His study program is in health sciences. It is called Next Gen Med, which deals with medical administration. He hopes to move from studying to working at the nearby Mayo Clinic, a well-known hospital based in Rochester. It is a big reason why I chose to stay in Minnesota, he said. Kolengode is in his second year of college. He said he and his classmates saw how the COVID-19 pandemic took away some of the in-person college experience from their older friends. He said, we felt a little more motivation because we understood how much it could be taken for granted. He also saw the example of his parents working in the medical field and wanted to follow their path. Kolengode said many young people in Minnesota think they can only reach their goals by moving away.
These younger students are always told, oh, everything is so good when you leave home and when you can finally live on your own. But you can do all of those things when you're still in your hometown, saving money, getting the same education, and sometimes maybe better education if you're in your hometown.
Lori Carell is the chancellor, a top official at the University of Minnesota, Rochester. She said a number of universities in the U.S. are part of a new program testing College in 3. It aims to get students a degree in 3, not 4 years. She said many students in the U.S. are questioning the value of college because of the cost. They also are concerned about finding a good job when they finish. Schools like hers are working to help students complete their degrees with a good job and not a lot of debt. Students stay in school all year and work at the Mayo Clinic, which is close by, Carell explained. She said, we need people to come to Minnesota.
There are a lot of needs for people with advanced degrees in Minnesota, making this 3-year undergrad option even more attractive.
Once people finish their undergraduate degree, she said, they can move on to advanced degrees and find a good job in Minnesota. Students from other states like Minnesota too. Sia Sacardande came from Texas to study psychology at the University of Minnesota's main campus in Minneapolis and St. Paul, known as the Twin Cities.